out my way. We see you, we see you. Black excellence is the new way. We see you, we see you. The time is now, baby, why wait? We see you, we see you, we see you, we see you, we see you. No preview, we see you, we see you. Black excellence, we fit the culture. Talk about relevant, talking about it in a room with the elephants. Match it out, walk it out like pedestrian. Shakespeare, talk about elegance, real talent and the prevalence. So refreshing like a peppermint, got the blueprint. Leave a mark like a footprint. Oh yeah, Martin Luther King had a dream. I'm the one, yeah. Number one like Sydney with the Oscar and the funds up. Hands up, if you ain't scared of change, don't you change up. I know you swig it out my way. We see you, we see you. Black excellence, this the new way. We see you, we see you. The time is now, baby, why wait? We see you, we see you, we see you, we see you, we see you. No preview, we see you, we see you. Work it out, back up, back up. Wait a minute, hold on. We see you, we see you.
Hey folks, Michael Taylor here, your host of Theater Corner Green Room. And I'm here with my co-host.
Kathryn Smith-McGlynn.
All right, very good. And I just wanted to acknowledge our sponsor, which is Mental Bar, the Workaholic Cold Brew. And it is modern coffee for the modern achiever. I really like saying that.
We can tell.
You want to do the intro?
Okay, so we're really excited today because we have a very special guest for you. Danielle Moore is the chair, recently sworn in, right?
That's
recently
right.
Sworn in of the Board of Port Commissioners for the Port of San Diego. Welcome,
Thank
Danielle.
you. Thank you. Thank you. So honored to be here. It's nice to be able to sit down with the two of you and chat. So thank you for the invitation.
And so you were recently sworn in.
That's right.
2 weeks ago?
Yes. Yes, I was sworn in. It was held at Eve. It was such an amazing ceremony. Yeah, my family was there. It's rare that you have opportunities where you can stand before all of the people who have poured into you throughout so much of your life. And I felt so fortunate to be able to have my mom, my grandmother, my dad, my siblings, my nieces and nephews, and my daughter, who were all there. And I had several mentors, people who have known me since I was 16. You know, when I was 8th grade, my teacher from, high school, and it's so many people. And so looking out in that audience and then being able to see all of those people who helped me get to that moment was just such a powerful moment for me.
And so what we're seeing now, this is actually your mother swearing you in.
That's right. Yeah. So my mom swore me in. I think what made the swearing in ceremony so special was that each of the officers who were being sworn in had a member of their family swear them in. So Ann Moore, who's the vice chair, had her husband, and then Michael Zuquette, who is the secretary, had his wife, and I had my mom. And so, it was great. I love to be able to, take my family with me no matter what stage I'm on or what opportunity I have. It means a lot to me that they can also share in those moments. So my mom, after the event, was saying, "Where's the video? I need the video. Send me the video so I can see." And I sent her a couple of articles that referenced her name, so she was pretty excited to see her name in print. But my mom has probably been my greatest champion, the person who has always, had my back and supported me through everything, my biggest advocate. And so being able to share that moment and that stage with her meant a lot to me.
And so having all of you, the people there that have been with you through that journey, tell us a little bit about your journey.
Sure.
Leading up to this.
Yes.
moment.
Thank you, Kathryn, for asking that question. So I am a native San Diegan. I'm so proud to be from the city. Was born, in the South Bay. Spent my entire life here for the most part. My father was in the military and probably worked at almost every base here in San Diego. And yeah, so I went to elementary school here. I went to high school. I went to the San Diego School of Creative and Performing Arts. And I feel like I'm a daughter of this city, and so that is really my root. My background is very much rooted here. We lived in Navy housing in Linda Vista, and so I was at Skate World regularly on the weekends. We joke with my mom that was our child care, because she would be like, "Get out the car," and we would see her, and then it'd be, late at night when she would come and pick us up as it was closing. So yeah, no, I've had an amazing life here. I always feel like my beginnings could not have predicted where my life would take me, and so where I am now, I would not have ever imagined that I would be standing on that stage. So yeah, I'm from San Diego.
So your journey of being an achiever started early on.
It did.
Because we were able to look into your yearbook. You were voted most likely to succeed, voted most stress.
Yep, I was gonna add that one. Most stress for sure.
But your journey as a leader actually started early in life.
It did. So I was 10th grade president. I was 11th grade representative, and then I was ASB president. Over the entire school, and so those were early formative experiences in shaping me and my identity, as a leader. Mr. Robinson, who was one of my teachers in high school, often talks about how I chose ASB, or the Associated Student Body, over being number one in my class. So because I chose ASB, I ended up being third in my class instead of the first one. If I had taken another AP course, which conflicted with ASB, then I would have been, ideally in my mind, valedictorian. But I always felt like I had this balance of being a leader as well as somebody who was very focused on academics. But I'm also the oldest child. And so, they always talk about how the oldest daughter is the family manager.
Family manager.
That very much was, my identity, the one who planned everything, organized, was the surrogate parent in the absence of, of parents. So that also instilled a lot of leadership qualities in me.
And you are an artist. You are a creative. So, speaking of like high school, I mean, your art form started way back then.
It did. So SCPA, I love to talk about my high school because it was such a creative space, and the more creative you were, the more popular you were. Kids had all of these opportunities to dye their hair, design their clothes, whatever it was. But when I attended there were not auditions. And so they took students from all over San Diego County, students who could afford to have lessons and students who could not. And so there were some students who came in who had no experience in the arts, had never taken a dance lesson or an art class, and they still, through the coursework at SCPA, were able to become such accomplished artists. And the culture of the school was that you didn't have to be an artist. You just had to have an appreciation for the arts. And so the school was equally committed to creating artists as it was to creating patrons of the art. And so I'm so proud. Everyone's like, "What's your art?" And I was like, "I don't really have a lot of art, but I love the arts and I appreciate it." And I think I knew enough. I took an art class. I took music. I took dance. I've taken enough of these classes to be able to have an appreciation and see the value that art brings. And I think that's great. You got to have somebody who's going to sit in the audience, right? You got to have somebody who's going to visit the studio, who's going to, go to the art studio, who's going to sit through, the performance. Just as much as you got to have people who will, create it. So I think there's always an artist in all of us. But my art at SCPA was writing. The program is certainly much more developed than it was when I was there. And so now they have, publications of, for poets and short stories that they didn't necessarily have when I was there. But I performed a lot, People would be like, "We need a poet." It's Black History Month. Come on over here. And so I would have the chance to, perform all over. I did the Kumbah Fest for a very long time.
Oh.
So there are always opportunities here to perform.
And you're able to, how are you able to parlay all of that then into what you're doing? Talk about what you're doing right now.
Yeah, sometimes it feels a little disjointed because I don't always have opportunities to devote to the art, but I kind of think of myself as doing a work study or, being able to observe life and be in these leadership roles that will inform the way that I see the world and will influence my art. But right now, I'm the chair of this organization for the Port of San Diego. I'm chair of the board of port commissioners for the Port of San Diego. And it is one of the best professional roles that I've ever had. I learn so much. I get to, be on the ground floor on so many exciting projects and see them from their nascency, to their development, which is a unique vantage point to have, whether it's policy issues and the people that I meet amaze me. I love hearing people's stories and why they have been at the port for as long as they have, or what connects them there. And it's always just a really powerful, intimate story about, my parents, worked here, or, my mom started out here, and, then I started it. And so it's just those stories I find so compelling. It's also great because of the people that I work with. The people at the port on the board are so talented. They have so much experience. They've been working in their fields for so long. And even some of them have been on the port board for 15 years or longer. And so being able to, receive their counsel and get their perspective, I always tell them that to me it means so much to hear the perspective, everyone's perspective, because they all have something so unique and so valuable to offer that I'm just like, okay, I want to hear from, Commissioner Malcolm, and then I want to hear from Commissioner Moore, and I want to hear from Commissioner Zuquette and Commissioner Barakara and Commissioner Ungab. Like all of them have, and Commissioner Tassin, like all of them have something, so unique that they bring to the board that is so compelling. They've been in leadership positions all over the city. Their legal expertise, we have Ann Moore, Vice Chair Ann Moore, and Commissioner Malcolm are both attorneys. And they're leaders, in the community. So I feel very honored to be able to work with them. I feel honored that they voted me to serve as chair. In fact, they wanted me to serve last year, and I was like, no, I need another year to, be able to survey the land, talk to people, get a better understanding of the position. But this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I remember when I was, when I was considering putting my name in the hat to be considered and submit my materials, and I was discouraged from, moving forward with it. And, I really had to just follow my instinct, because I was like, when else does an opportunity like this come around? And, I wanted to take it, and I'm better for it. I'm a better leader. I'm better in terms of analyzing issues, managing people, all of it. It has enriched my life.
And you're also only the second
That's
black
right.
female to sit in the chair position. And this is, to put it in context, this is after over 60 years that that the port has existed.
That's right.
And so this was another reason why, we definitely wanted to have you here on this show to give you your flowers, sister,
Yes.
and express our appreciation for it, because you're representing us, and we
Absolutely.
see you, and the ancestors see you, and so we really love what you're doing.
Yeah. So the port was, yes, like you said, was created by the state legislature in 1962, and charged with managing the tidelands, not only for the people of San Diego, but for the entire state of California, for citizens of the state of California. And so, there's a very broad purpose. But yes, I am the second, not the first. There's some things I've seen written that have said I'm the first, and I'm not the first. I'm not even the first woman. The first woman was in 1980, I believe, and Bernice Layton, I think her name was the first woman. But yeah, I'm the second black person. Both of us have been women. Both of us are deltas. Shout out there. On to serve as chairs and to serve on the commission.
So, would you like to?
Sure. So my introduction to the Port of San Diego was really a ferry ride that we took from San Diego to Coronado, to the Coronado ferry landing. And this is me. This is me as a kid. We're on the water, and it was such a, inspiring experience for me. It's still, I think about it. I remember that day. I remember how fun it was to be on the water, to be with my family. I remember when we got to Coronado, we were just doing cartwheels on the grass and had lunch. But really this image, I think, also focuses how I see my role on the board, because I really feel like when I sit in that seat, this is who I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about a family of 6, where they don't have many means, but they want to bring their kids and their family to have an experience on the port. And so I'm always thinking about how can we make the port of San Diego affordable? How can we make sure that the experiences that they have on the waterfront will leave these lasting memories for them that are positive, that keep wanting them to return and visit, the port of San Diego. But certainly, that family, those who don't always have access to many resources, making sure that we have accessible, things that they can experience and enjoy on the waterfront is important to me.
It's really increasing quality of life.
That's right. And to be so close to the water, you would be surprised how many people live in San Diego and don't always make it down to the waterfront and
That's true.
Don't see the water and don't experience the beauty of San Diego. I mean, when you look at all that, the port has to offer, marinas, piers, parks. We have 22 parks, all of the Tidelands. There's so much that they can experience here that I want to make sure that every San Diegan experiences it, no matter where they are.
And so one of the other things that the port offers in terms of the waterfront is art.
That's right. That's right.
And so you have a sort of a program. I don't know. Should I refer to it as a program? Art on the Tidelands.
That's right.
Perhaps you can kind of bring us up to speed on what that is, and we can show some of the art that's located there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think fundamentally we all recognize the value of art when we see it, when we are surrounded by, things that depict our everyday life or make us think about something different. It enriches it. It enlivens this waterfront that we have. And so being able to have art, on the waterfront is important. And because of that, we have 1% of the funds that we receive will go towards the art. And so we have invested or spent nearly $15 million the Bay, which include traditional bronze sculptures, vibrant murals, fountains, kinetic artworks, light projections, sound art. And so all of this art is really meant for the public. But we also have a committee that's chaired by Commissioner Varakara. And so they make decisions about the art that's available, available and that is presented to the public. One of the great things, though, is that on our committees, we have public, members who can participate on those committees. And so if there are people who are interested in being able to weigh in about the selections, and what art is installed, or if they have relationships with the artists and want to bring those suggestions forward, that's always an opportunity. And of course, our email address is on the website, so you can always contact us. But we also have these self-guided tours. So there are 5 member cities, which include Chula Vista, Coronado, Imperial Beach, National City, and San Diego. And so if you want a tour of the art that's available, you can always see that. We have, we are focused on experience, so there's a ton of museums that we have, but we also have art installations, and so there's opportunities for people to take in visual art in that way as well. And then one of the great things, I don't think, what is a waterfront if you don't have somebody with a microphone and, speakers and presenting it. And so there are also spaces available that are designated for artists to be able to perform. And so that's one of the ways that we also love. And then we have the Ready Shell, which is right on the waterfront, which is one of our great performances. Yeah. If you have been there, I've been there a few times. And I mean, the acoustics combined with the light show is just amazing. Even just watching the lights light up around the shell are just stunning. So, and my daughter plays the violin, but if you go to the website, there are free performances with the symphony. They go there and rehearse during the summers, and you can go there for free and listen to them. So it's perfect for, kids. So like my daughter, she probably can't sit through an entire symphony performance, although she did. We went to the symphony for the first time last year. But it's an abbreviated performance. And so they start and stop. But you can, catch a performance for free and just sit there on the lawn, bring your lunch, even ride your bike around the area, which we've done several times. But one of the things that we do to make sure we can give back to the community that, all of this is for the community. We don't take any taxes. So everything that we do, we are trying to find ways to reinvest that back into the community, and create, opportunities for the public to be able to see the benefit of all of this is created for them.
So before we get too far away from the arts, I wanted to show the website, actually, and what you were talking about, the self-guided tour. So if they go to your website, and this image here is from Pure 32.
Yep.
But they will also see this map, which each of those icons are community art piece that came through from the port. Here are some other pieces, but on the bottom of the page, they'll be able to download a PDF that they could follow along and do a self-guided tour. So you guys giving a lot to San Diego.
We do. There's so much to give. I feel like that is one of our greatest charges, is making sure that the public is benefiting from all that happens at the port, and so which is a lot. One of the experiences that I had recently last year is that I went to Singapore, and when I went to Singapore, I saw this statue.
That's phenomenal.
By Fernando Botero, who is a Colombian artist, and standing next to it, I was just blown away by it. His artistic style is all about volume, and so not just, he doesn't just do women. He does birds that are also have a lot of volume to them. But I just was taken by this statue of this woman who is so voluptuous and full. And it's called, the Standing Woman, and created in 2006. But it just is amazing, to see this in public. And I just stopped and just took it in. And I think that's our goal with the art that we have at the Port of San Diego, is that we want to have, art, murals, bronze statues, visual art that makes people take a second and stop, and that even with the natural beauty that's around them, they can take in, the beauty of an artistic creation.
We need more of that, right? Slow down a little bit.
That's right.
The grind culture, gotcha.
That's right. It's all of the brew. It's the cold brew coffee.
So that piece, I thought you were about to say the port is going to bring that sculpture to San Diego.
No, sorry. We have not been in a discussion to that. But it's just, for me, sometimes you'll be in places, and even foreign or, here in the U.S., and you can see something and it will have an impact on you. I mean, I think that's the power of art, is that sometimes it just, can have such an impact. It can bring you to tears, it can make you feel something. And it's when I saw that, it's because I think we get so caught up in what it made me think of seeing, the Standing Woman was, we're so often caught up in women being so thin, and to be in this public space and see a full figure woman, naked, and that being celebrated, it, to me, was just really beautiful. Not because of her shape, but just that this idea that we all have to be one size and we have to be skinny. I felt like it was just in defiance of that for me. So other people might have a different perspective, but I love seeing this naked, full body, and you don't have to be ashamed of it. But I don't know, that was my read.
I like it. I like that.
That's what's up. And so we have another image. So this is a ceremony not too long ago,
just last week,
for Liberty
Freedom Park.
Freedom Park.
Yeah.
For Freedom Park. And so this is part of your Tidelands.
That's right.
So what is Freedom Park?
Yeah, so Freedom Park is going to be a park that's going to be adjacent to the USS Midway. It's going to be the largest, military park that on the West Coast. And this park, to me, really symbolizes the spirit of San Diego. I mean, I think if San Diego's anything, it's a military town. And so we have so many branches of the military here. Part of the Tidelands that we manage, or the part that we don't manage, we have 70 miles. We manage 34 miles of it. But the remainder of it is really managed by the military and other jurisdictions. And so to have, something that honors the service of all of those men and women, including my father, who have devoted their lives to securing our freedom, I think this park will be important in honoring those individuals. And so Terry Kraft, who's the CEO over the USS Midway, and so many of the others who are leading the fundraising effort have really worked to make sure that this park is representative of all of us. And so not just some heroes, but all of the heroes, you know, from all different backgrounds who have devoted their lives and their careers to the military will be honored at this park. And so Malin Burnham, who's featured here in this photo, is the named, you know, who has generously contributed to the park. And so it's going to be Freedom Park at Malin Burnham Navy Pier. And so I'm so excited that, you know, that he is one of the named people for this park because he's from San Diego, was born in Point Loma. He went to Stanford, my alma mater.
Whoop, whoop.
He's a first generation college student. You know, and he has this ethics about him, about community first. And I remember when I was sitting there on that day talking with him, he said, you know, I've always saw the importance in putting the community first. And I love that. And I jokingly said to him, you know, there's this African saying that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And so this idea of bringing people with you really is working to make sure that his legacy lives on into the future. So, yeah. So I'm excited about this park because it's going to open up the waterfront. We had the head house that was there blocking the view, and that's been taken down. And people are like, where did that ship come from? They couldn't even see the USS Midway. But now they're like, when did that ship get there? The ship has been there for a long time. And so I'm excited about the ways that it will continue to open up the waterfront and bring people out, and they'll have a free opportunity to walk through the park.
And so just too recently, I really couldn't articulate like what the port of San Diego does and what kind of entity it is, and it's all confusing. Or I don't know, maybe it's just not out there. But you guys do a tremendous
We do.
for San Diego.
We do. So we are the fourth largest port in the state of California,
Wow.
behind Los Angeles, Long Beach, and Oakland. And when I said earlier that there are 70 miles of coastline in San Diego, and we manage 34 miles of that. And so the work that we do is so broad. I think it took me like a year and a half to even be able to understand everything that the port does. But when you look at maritime is a big part of it. And the maritime is what you think of when you think of a port, that ships are coming in with cargo and containers and with goods that have to be shipped. And so we have two terminals, 10th Avenue Marine Terminal and the National City Marine Terminal. At the 10th Avenue, Dole is our anchor tenant. And so they have over 800 containers, or 4 billion bananas that get moved through there annually. And then at the National City Marine Terminal, Pasha is our, they manage the terminal for us. And so they are responsible for moving 350,000 cars or processing them. And so 1 in 10 cars in Southern California have been processed here at the Port of San Diego through Pasha and the work that they do. And so they
Incredible.
are largely responsible for shipping things. And then, of course, we have cruises. We expect 75 calls this year. And so we have the B Street Pier and the Broadway Pier where cruises come in and out. The economic impact of these piers when they're just passing through is 600,000. And then when they home port,
Jeez.
meaning that where they start their journey here, 2 million. And so the impact for the region is tremendous. One of the benefits that we love and that a lot of our cruise ships love is that when they come to San Diego, they have access to the downtown, to the city in ways that if you're in Long Beach or if you're in other places, you're not able to immediately access, get downtown. And so that's one of the perks of being able to come here. And then, of course, you keep going south to Mexico. So this is a great, place for cruise ships. Real estate is a significant part of the work that we do. And so one of our biggest roles is as a landlord. We have over 800 tenants who, and that's everything from restaurants to hotels to stores. You think of Seaport Village.
Seaport Village.
Yeah, that's right. And so that's a big part of it. And so a lot of the revenue that we generate from them, we reinvest and to make sure that the public can enjoy all of the work that we're doing. But that is a big part. And so one of the projects that we have is the Gaylord Convention Center that's coming up in
yeah.
Chula Vista. This is a transformational project for the South Bay. We are so excited that it is creating opportunities in terms of jobs, but also opportunities. I heard someone talk about how, those students who are in Chula Vista and who are further south don't really have a place to have their prom. They have to come all the way downtown to San Diego. And so having, the Gaylord Convention Center is going to mean that they don't have to go far from their community, that people who work in the hotels don't have to travel so far to get to work. They can, catch the trolley, which stops, really close to there and be able to work there. And so there's parks that are going to be, built around there, which is also really amazing. And then we have, shipbuilding and ship repair companies that are also located around San Diego. And so those are all of the tenants and businesses that really bring people out, to San Diego, and that are able to kind of service, also provide a lot of jobs for the community.
I love that you have this overview of San Diego, but then, as a community, right? But then you're also getting these other small micro, communities and making sure that they have quality of life there, that
That's
they're
right.
tight knit.
Yeah.
And what can you do to help move them along?
Yeah. I think it can be so lost because, I think sometimes people just don't even know everything that the port does, and it's hard. It's hard to take it all in at once because it's such a dynamic port. We are not like a lot of other ports that are solely focused on bringing goods in and sending goods out and moving containers. Ours is very much built around experiences, around bringing people out to enjoy the waterfront, to work on the waterfront, to be able to stay and enjoy it. And so, in fact, that's also a part of it. We have no residents. No one can own any of the tidelands because it's owned by the people of California.
Oh,
So
really?
there's no residential property on any of the tidelands. So everything we do is focus on, the citizens of the state of California, bringing them out, having them be able to enjoy it. And so the hotels is an important part of that because if you come from Northern California, or even if you come from Tennessee and you want to, visit, or, you have to have a place to stay. And so we're focused on the tourism aspect of it, but we're also focused on the resident part of it. How do we bring people out, and what type of experiences are they going to have? And is it affordable? And is it enjoyable? And does it speak of, what it means to be here in San Diego? Are we bringing out the best talent that we have and the best experiences?
So what's the relationship between the port and the Navy? Because they have part of the waterfront, the national city.
Yeah.
Is there a direct relationship there?
There is a direct relationship. So we are a strategic port, which means that we have the abilities to support the Navy if they ever need our support. So that means maybe bringing in a ship or helping a ship get out. If there was any type of support that they needed, we have been designated as a strategic port. And so we do work very closely with the Navy. I think it adds so much to our city and to the work that we do having the military here. They are important partners, and we think about them a lot for sure.
My goodness, Danielle Moore, you just made 30 minutes
It went by
fly
so
by.
fast. I know. I thought I was going to do some poetry, but looks like did we run out of time?
No, we still have 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Now that you
Danielle.
mentioned poetry, we just authorized a 5-minute extension.
Yes, at least one. Come on, one of the pieces.
Sure. I'm happy to read one.
Okay.
Too. I said that I was only going to read one that aged well, and so
All right.
I'm trying to find it. Okay. So I won't preface it. I'll just read it. It's entitled "My Daughter." This is before I had my daughter. When I conceive, I will close my eyes and pray. I will shout the names of every saint. I will go to the tops of mountains. I will seek the counsel of wise women. I will mark my skin. I will find the divine within. I will bathe in holy water in hopes that I give birth to a daughter. And she will live for every aborted female fetus, for every place in the world where femaleness is a sign of unrighteousness, the symbol of someone's sin, an unwanted seed thrown away in concrete because she should have been a boy. When I give birth and they reach to hit her naked body, I will tell them no. She cannot enter the world accustomed to being abused. She will remain uninitiated to violence, and I shall remind them that all over the globe we have paid her price in sweat, tears, blood, flesh, and our lives. She will not be sacrificed. We will know that she is alive from her laughter and not her cry. I will tell her each night that she is the truth and sing resistant songs by her bedside. I will teach her how to crawl out of her crib so that she knows how to escape from behind any bars. She will run before she walks. Her first word will be freedom. She will be the greatest poem I ever breathed life into. She will remind us that we are the ones that we are waiting for and ask questions like, Mama, why is it that although women make up half the world's population and put in nearly 2/3 of the world's work hours, they receive just 1/10 of the world's income? Mama, why is it that although women make up half the world's population and put in nearly 2/3 of the world's work hours, they own only 100 of the world's property? And I will explain why such disparities exist, and that some people have a God complex and show what they lack in other areas by their dominance. I will teach her to play with fire and stones and knives and guns, because in some corner of the world, these are the tools used to exterminate our kind. I will show her how to find herself in every girl or woman's story, that she is connected to the Indian woman who has suffered death by fire for her dowry, or the millions of girls sold into neo-slavery, human trafficking, or the woman stoned for infidelity, or the girls who are sold into marriage before they turn 18, or the African girls and women who are circumcised, or the American woman who becomes a victim of domestic violence every 19 seconds. I will arm her with weapons of mass mobilization. She will organize people across nations and fight for female liberation everywhere, eliminate discrimination so that every girl can have access to an education or food or good health or self-determination. I will show her how to regurgitate pain and refuse to swallow it, and make the worlds resurface and float until someone takes notice of it. I will make sure she understands that she is not weak nor alone. We stand over 3 billion strong. When my daughter comes of age, I will teach her that she is not a victim but a survivor. I will tell her to stand naked before mirrors and love what she sees. I will make sure she knows that women are not her enemies. I will tell her to make altars at the feet of her bed and worship herself, to honor the life that flows from her every month. It is God's reminder that she is powerful. And when I can tell my child no more, I will send her to you, and you must be able to account for what you have done in our fight for equality and justice.
All right. We snapped that one up.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It was so great to talk to you all about the Port of San Diego.
My goodness. And it's so wonderful to have you here. And I know you're a busy person. I mean you're the chair, but I mean you have a regular life as well.
I do.
A regular professional life as well.
I do.
And so we appreciate you taking time out to come by our humble little show.
Poem. I'm still trying to unpack the poem. Okay.
There's a lot there.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so honored to be here.
All right. Very good.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning into another episode of Theater Corner Green Room. And this episode will be, you can find it on our channel if you missed the live stream. And don't forget to subscribe and like the channel so you'll be alerted when the next episode drops. All right, co-host?
All right. We'll see you soon.
Thank you again, Danielle. We appreciate you.
Of course. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Right. And we'll see you.
Yep.